All right, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fatmata, and this is Traditionally Inspired Meaningful Art. And if you've been on the community tab, you recognize this lovely face. My best friend's here. We're going to do a quick video. She just finished making this lovely piece. So I'm going to borrow her before she leaves to go home to ask a couple of questions. Welcome.
It's so great to be here.
Okay. So I guess let's begin with, tell us a little bit about your sewing journey. I'd love to know.
Oh, that's
where'd sewing fit in your life? What's
I come from a long line of seamstresses. Mm-hmm. My great-grandmother and my grandmother, they used to sew a lot. They made uniforms for school children. And then used to walk down the mountain to, I learned this past summer when I went back to Jamaica.
I was like, I didn't know.
Welcome to my family lineage history. So my great grandmother, she had my mom and everybody in the house, and like she would sew uniforms, school uniforms, and then walk to the next town over, which is an overnight journey. And
this is in Jamaica.
In Jamaica,
by the way.
Yes. And then sell, I guess, the uniforms to whoever she sold them to, and then come back the next day. And then she taught my grandmother how to sew, so my grandma used to make everything, but then she became a teacher. And then my mom, she used to sew everything as a teenager. And then I grew up with my mom always had a sewing machine out. Grandma, whenever she would visit, the machine was getting used.
You see, that's what I remember. Yeah. I remember your grandma was the first person that I ever saw using a sewing pattern. I had never seen what that was. And I was like, there's this tissue paper, and it just looked like a highway and a roadway of stuff. And she'd be like, and I was just like, I don't know what grandma's doing over there. What's grandma doing? She was the first person I saw using.
Every single time she visited us,
she would make you something. Yes.
Yeah, and it got to a point where I was like, well, let's make something for me. And then when I could drive, we're going to Joanne's.
Yeah.
And then find a pattern, find some fabric, and we're going to make something. Yeah. Well, she's going to make something.
There was a pink skirt. Was there a pink skirt? I remember.
The pink skirt still exists, and I didn't finish it, and it does not fit.
You did not finish it?
I did not finish it.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, that's like, I vividly remember her working on like
cute.
Pink fabric.
It was so
and like
cute. It's like a jacquard type.
Yeah. I remember this fabric.
From G Street, and it was expensive for someone that didn't have a good job. So.
Talk about it. Didn't get it in the dead stock section, did you?
Did not.
Okay, well that's riveting. I even learned some things. Yes. What was the first garment you've ever sewn? I don't know that I've ever seen you make a full garment. So have you sewn a full garment?
Ooh. The thing I think about most recently is our fun employment summer. The 4th of July.
Yes.
And we made outfits.
Little top.
Yeah, it was a tube top. So not much sewing required. No, it wasn't
a
tube top.
Orange and Cara. It was like
it wasn't a tube top. It was like
it
was
it was like square.
Oh, it was super cute. And
I might have
that's when you like open my eyes to, you don't need an actual pattern. You just need something that looks like what you want. Lay it down, and then just like kind of just draw it.
Cut it out. And the thing you just did figure it out.
Yeah.
I have a picture. Yeah, and then we did masks later on that day. It was a very good craft day.
It was a great craft day.
I remember fun employment, aka have fun while unemployed.
Yes.
Our 20s were a time.
Enjoy it.
A time.
Enjoy it. Life comes at you fast.
In between jobs.
Comes at you fast.
Yeah, I remember that. I actually remember that fabric.
Yeah.
It was like the beige with like the orange. Is very geometric in nature.
It's not.
That was years ago though.
That was 2013.
A decade.
Yeah.
Friends. Wow. We've been employed since, y'all.
A few times.
All right. So you're now getting back into sewing.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about what sparked that interest and intrigue.
I feel like I love doing things with my hand. I love like anything that I can create. I do a lot of woodworking. I do a lot of like crafts. Yes. I learned.
Just give your whole name. Don't worry about that. They can't read the scribbles.
I learned about the Cricut like 2 years ago and like took off from that. But it's paper crafts and like ironing on, so it gets old and I can't fill my house with paper, but I do fill my house with clothes. So I think seeing you and your community and then like watching your videos, it just always feels very...
You watch my videos, then?
I do watch your videos. I'm gonna start commenting. My grandma watches your videos.
Stop it.
Oh yeah, no.
Granny watches.
Oh yeah, every time she's like, "Oh, I saw this. Even how's that girl doing?" Yeah, she loves your videos.
I love it.
But yeah, I think like looking at the things that you make and you create, always feels very much like the things that I like. And I love your style. I love that like you're able to make the things that you envision, and I feel like I see stuff. ASOS is really good.
ASOS is great.
They got me, but in this season of life, I need to stop spending so much money.
Okay.
So I think it's a good hobby. Yeah. It still does the things by hand. I'm still creating something. Right. There's a tangible thing at the end, and Justin doesn't have to yell at me that I'm filling the house.
With water bottles.
We can't do any more.
We can't do any more water bottles.
I'm not making any more water bottles for any friends. If you see this, no.
Tote bags though. Tote bags is still fabric.
Only if you're taking all the tote bags home.
That's an excellent point. I also feel like, because one of the things that you were talking about with one of the patterns that we got recently, was this idea that sometimes you do see things, but fit wise, they don't meet certain things. So what have been your challenges with like fit that you often find?
Definitely length. I think now that I'm a woman, things fit a little bit better, but now I'm getting to the problem of like the gap sometimes, or it's just really...
She's referring to the gap between the waist and the fabric.
Yes.
Should be.
Yes.
Okay. And your waist and your hip measurement.
Not too much butt, but plenty of the hips.
The hip.
Yes.
It'll do it.
So things like that, I think like I always want something a little bit more tailored here. And just longer things. Yeah. ASOS tall is meant for like a 6-foot woman. And I am 5'9".
I was gonna say,
yeah,
just below that.
And then the regular size is meant for 5'6".
Yeah.
So it's just
getting the sweet spot.
Woo! I have to check every model, and see what their height is and the type of shoe that they're wearing.
At least they provide that. That's good.
Yeah, except Zara, they do not, and their models are always like So
I would also say forever, like you have broader shoulders.
Yes.
So that will sometimes hike up things.
Have gotten, now that I'm wearing like a large, sometimes it's a little bit better with my shoulders. My shoulders are now proportionate to my body. Okay. But before, it was awful. Everything like ended here. If it was like a thick strap, or if it was just a regular shirt, it was just really tight. Couldn't really move around. I bought a lot of, now that I know it's raglan sleeves. I just call them baseball shirts. Bought a lot of those. Just to compensate for that, or a lot of like halter type things, because
you got a great clavicle.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. I like it. Yeah. I like it. But now, then you can compensate for that. And now you know the language, which is great. All right. So now, we recently went to G Street Fabrics. And if you haven't watched that video, I'll link to it. However, you got some really great finds. And I remember while we were at Joann, when you were looking for stuff, you were like, I'm looking at the fabrics. Like, can I find a Christmas fabric? And you had mentioned Hobby Lobby. And then what did you come to my house with was it the next day?
It was the next day.
I was going to say, like, I left the gym. Fatmata, how many yards of fabric do I need? Tell us about what sparked this loveliness.
Yeah, so to begin with, I'm really enjoying Christmas these days, especially during the pandemic. Yeah. Fiancé, he got excited.
Fiancé. I thought you said Beyonce, and I said, what's she got to do with it? I said, what's she got to do with it?
Fiancé. Okay. The fiancé.
Yes. The fiancé.
I had gotten us outfits for a Friendsmas party. Because I like to be like the cute, quirky couple. So I thought we were just going to be very like low key about it, but like coordinated. Yes. I'm wearing green and red, you're wearing green and red.
Yeah, cool. Gotta coordinate.
Came in and he was like, oh, but like, you didn't see anything that's matching? And I said, sir, Don't you
tempt me with a good time. Don't you tempt me with a good
And
time.
from that moment, I looked on every website and I was like, Shein, Temu, Amazon. Nobody had the coordinating,
his and hers,
unless I went to wear like a onesie. And no, I still wanted to be like, classy.
Festive but cute.
Yes. So when I went to Hobby Lobby, I saw one pattern, or like patterned thing.
Like
and
fabric.
It was fabric, yes. The pattern on the fabric was polka dots.
Okay.
And it was just green and red polka dots. And I sent him that picture, and I guess because it's a live image, he saw this. And he's like, I don't know what that thing that you sent me was, but I want this one.
Good eye. Good eye.
What are you talking about? Oh, yeah.
You didn't see this.
I saw it, but I was like,
he's not going to go for that.
Yeah.
He won't go for it.
But my boo, he knows my spirit.
And he's like, she trying to.
If we're going to do it, I want to go all the way.
Listen, she's trying to dumb down her energy. Don't you do that. Don't do that.
We have really leaned into that festive spirit.
Okay, so let's talk about our experience, because boy, did we have an experience with this fabric. Tell them a little bit of story about what happened when you brought this cotton fabric home to me.
So I hope if you want to look at a previous video from Black Friday, there was a very beautiful eyelet blue fabric, cotton. So when I came over here, after just deciding that I was going to start sewing out of nowhere, we washed all the fabric together.
How many yards?
6 yards. 6 whole yards of fabric.
Fresh,
white, lily white fabric.
Sorry, guys. Let me show y'all the fabric close up. What am I doing? Do I have a YouTube channel? Have I done this before? So this is the fabric. It is the Grinch That Stole Christmas and the Whovilles and the Who's. And it's lovely.
It's so cute.
It is a very bright white background.
It was very
supposedly. All right. And then continue, please.
Yes. So washed the fabric, learned about it's so long, tie it in a knot. I was just I was excited to learn. And then I'm in here meticulously cutting out patterns, and all I hear is, Deneen, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What are you talking about? So, really thought you were being so dramatic. And then when I walk into the laundry room, it's just yards and yards of just blue Whoville fabric.
It was. Oh my gosh. It was this blue. I'm not kidding.
I wish we had a picture.
It took everything out of. I saw your face, and I was like, I know she's not gonna cry. She's a big girl, but I saw her eyes filled with. So she was like,
my eyes were drying out because I couldn't blink.
She was like,
I didn't think that still happened.
Who bought that? Who bought that fabric? It was like, what?
It was so blue.
It was so. This is one of the edges that I had tied up. Obviously, it's no longer blue, but I was shocked and was like, I was like, no.
The whole thing.
No.
The whole. And it was
a very even.
So consistent.
Very even, consistent blue.
Wow. Yeah.
So then we called the fiancé. We call fiancé up, and he's like, yeah, I'm with it. It's all right. But I knew.
I was too attached to the white.
I knew.
Like blue.
So immediately I got a pair of scissors. I just snipped off a little bitty piece, put it in bleach immediately, and I was like, okay, in the matter of a few minutes.
Yeah.
We were in there for maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's lightening up. So we just, before putting it in the dryer and setting this stain in, I was like, we're just gonna run it back by itself in a ton of bleach and OxyClean, and I give you this.
And now we have
it never happened.
What I would call it a feather white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still white, but it's got a little tinge to it.
It's a natural white.
Yes.
Natural.
You actually prefer. We meant to do this. Anyways, okay, so that's where we began. So tell us about your pattern choices. Any comments on how we came and arrived at these?
What were we gonna do at first? So Justin, that's his style. Short sleeve, button down. Camp style collar.
Camp style collar.
Camp style collar is what I have learned that is. So knew that was going to be perfect. I think we were looking at not a wrap dress, but like was it the Fatima dress?
No.
It was just like a regular A-line.
This
something.
one, Simplicity.
Ah, yes. Just a straight shirt dress. That's what she had showed me while I was in the store, which is why we have 6 yards of fabric.
Yes.
Yeah. But by the time I made it here, 30 minutes later, man, that was really a quick turnaround.
It was very fast.
I'm so happy that you were just into it. There was this apron dress, which I thought was really cute, especially if it's going to be like a fun party dress. Like I can wear a t-shirt with it underneath or a turtleneck, depending on how many people are around and how hot you get because you're moving around a lot in the kitchen. So I thought that would be fun and more like festive holiday.
I also feel like one of the things that we thought about for Simplicity 8908 was that in this fabric could feel a little bit like night gowny.
Yes.
With like the all over print. So I appreciate that you were into 8641, which is a Sew House 7. I think this is the Burnside bib, like their Simplicity equivalent to it. And when we were thinking about ones for Justin, I'd pulled out the Norris pattern because I had heard some not so positive reviews of S9157, but our fiance, he's slim. So I felt like this is a much boxier fit, the Norris one. So I felt like I've done a camp style collar before, and I was like, surely we can figure this out. So I'm glad that we went with that because it actually worked out in the end.
Good.
I was like, you got a bad rep for what? It was fine for us. Yeah. All right. So about your experience, like from the cutting, well, like figuring out pattern and sizing, cutting the fabric, sewing, the pressing. What would you say was your favorite part of the process?
Favorite part of the process.
Designing. I mean, like all of it.
I really like crisp edges. So I think the pressing, the what was it? Stitch in the ditch. I never felt more proud. Wow. I think that was really nice. Being able to just line up things and having not sewn for such a long time and it coming back a little bit quicker than I had anticipated.
Yeah. That's an
felt
uptick.
Really good. Yeah.
I was very proud of that. Okay.
Yeah.
She said pressing. Y'all heard that, right?
What?
Pressing. Like you enjoyed that. Getting those
crisp edges. Yeah.
All right.
The end result, not the actual pressing. That was not fun.
I was going to say, we have a sewer indeed. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the design. Did you enjoy with the rickrack? And as you can see, we embellished. We added a lot of embellishments to this piece.
Yeah.
We'll bring you closer.
I will say, when we first said that this was the fabric you would preferred, I was not into it at all. I thought it looked like a children's bed sheet. But when I called you and you were like excited about it and you're like, and then we could do rickrack, and I was like, ooh, yeah. So this was kind of what I had in my mind when you said that. And then it felt like it was just gonna be leaning into the festive versus I'm wearing a nightgown.
A nightgown,
yeah. So I think this was the thing that got me the most excited. Actually, I want to take back my previous most excited part. Putting the rickrack in between, that was like, that felt really good. That was very satisfying.
We have various applications of rickrack here. So what you're referring to is the, what do you call this?
We call the front, the bib.
We call it the gator.
The gator! Oh yeah,
yeah. Gator tooth.
Gator tooth.
Yeah.
Is that a technical term? That's
no.
The whole thing. Shark tooth.
Yeah, shark tooth. That's what it was. So, of course, you can just apply a rickrack directly on top, which, you could always do that. But I remember doing this with my Butterick shirt dress, where you just have the edge of it. And I just feel like it's an elevated
It is.
look.
It is.
I like it.
It felt like through the process I was learning, it was building on skills. Because we did the pockets, well, we did Justin's first, and I think doing the pockets and doing it on the front, and then we did it on the front straight. Then we did it on the front curved lines.
Yeah,
and then we did it in between, and like making sure you do it at a specific point on the rickrack to make sure that it's even-ish when it peeks through. So it felt like I was building on each skill. So
at one point, I vividly remember you were sewing, and then you were like, oh, I wish I remember how you said it. You were like, could I do this by myself? Like, or would it just take me more time? Because, of course, like, we were doing this process together, so I'm someone, I have now learned, I don't necessarily, like, we had the instructions out, of course, which I will always read it, even if I plan to break it, because it was helpful to kind of see. But there were many moments where I was like, they told you to do what?
Wow.
No. I was like, no.
The snobbery.
No. No, we're not having that. I was like, all right, well, what they meant to have said was, and then I would give her like 3 steps, and I was like, do this instead, or, you know, like, yes, we will eventually get there, but what they should have said was press, you know, overlock your edges, pre-press the hem of the cuff of this men's shirt before you actually sew it into a tube, because who wants to find 1/4 of an inch once you have a round circular object? That's terrible.
You know what was really interesting about that is it was definitely like the Grandma Ruby experience.
Is it?
Because she reads through it and like goes through, and then she just tells me what to do and sew. And then she'll be like, well, but we're gonna press. Like it was always but you have to press the seam down, you have to do this, and like explaining everything.
All right, Grandma Ruby, I'm taking up after you, so thanks for everything that you taught me. Thank you. Yeah. I would chuckle at myself because I could hear myself doing it, and I was like, tell you to, why would they do it in that order? I was like, obviously. It was really fun for me watching you go through this process. What was really fun was like stopping to sort of edit as we went along, because there were moments where you're like, okay, too much rickrack. Do put it here. Like, you know, stopping to actually visualize or anticipate what could be. I know you had really big thoughts about like having the train track directly in the middle, or like, you know, focusing on certain focal points throughout, which was really fun. We added this pocket, by the way. It's not a part of the pattern. Look at us just doing stuff.
We're fashion designers.
So that was a lot of fun. Anything that you feel like you would have done differently, either in this or the shirt, the button-up shirt?
Maybe I would have done thinner rickrack on the button-up shirt on the sleeves.
Yeah. I'll insert a photo of what that looks like.
Photo here. Just kidding. I hate these little loops in the back.
Let's turn it around.
These little the thickness of it, I feel like is unnecessary.
Okay.
Like even if it was just the rickrack maybe, and just like a bunch of them, that feels like it, because when I put it on, it's a lot of bulk
in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. So for this, and again, we did add a bit of additional sort of width to it by adding the rickrack, but this pattern does call for you to like create these loops that sit in the back. They were pretty thick, because even before we added the rickrack, I remember you commenting, you were like, that's wide.
Yeah.
So it's intended to have that there. And I remember looking at the pattern piece, and it was like, it does say sew at 3/8 of an inch. It doesn't say 5/8. So I feel like we did it based on the pattern. We might have added like a little bit by adding the rickrack, but yeah, it definitely is a lot of bulk the way that it bunches up. Yeah, so definitely something we would do differently.
Yeah.
Cool. What is now getting you excited about future projects now that you've tackled these two?
Like I was saying earlier, or before this video, I think spending more time with you.
Yay.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the hobbies that I have are very solo and like doing it for other people. And I love that. Love giving gifts. It's such a feels good.
Yeah.
But as I'm like trying to take more intentional time with friends and to do something that's fun and that we both like, and then being able to just like talk to somebody about it in real life, is really nice, because the show and tell, like showing somebody stuff, it's fun, but like actually doing it alongside someone and like getting feedback and we're both talking the same language, I think that is something I'm really excited about.
Yeah, same. So I think many of us, and I think many of you also, even when we had done like the quick trip to G Street last week, a lot of people were like, I would love to find sewing friends. Like if I had friends in my area, that sort of thing. So I completely agree, because otherwise, like, sit here. You know what I mean? And I just send you a picture. I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
Unless, you know, like the dress that we worked on when you were here and stuff like that. So it feels like a very isolated, like solo hobby. So I completely agree. Because even the banter, we were like, ooh, are we adding that? Like it was just so much creative juices flowing, and that was really fun to like engage in that manner. And also there's something about aiding someone else or teaching or helping or assisting, that sort of thing, that reinforces like things that I didn't even realize. I was like, wow, you do have a process, or like you have a preferred way or method of doing things. And I was like, oh, okay, look at you, like with the tips of like, hey, you should press that before, because it's gonna be much harder when you move on, or here's where we can interface. So some of the things that we kind of changed off the bat, we made our own pocket, but we also lined the pocket to make that easier. We lined the little patch pockets that they have on the front as well, which the pattern doesn't tell you to do. They were going to have you like put a basting stitch and then curve it, press it, and try and put it down. And I was like, we're just going to go ahead and line that, because why? Also, because this fabric is so heavily printed, one of the things that we did with the lining of the bib front was just do like a white cotton lining, the same one that we use for both pockets. And again, like things that I think, had I not been sewing for a while, like these aren't alterations or changes that I think I would have naturally thought to do. I'm like, the pattern says cut to a fabric, I'm gonna cut to of like the printed fabric, but recognizing that a print fabric in white, in a white base, you're gonna see the Grinch on the other side, kind of peeking through. So that was a lot of fun to do as well. All right, well, any questions that I didn't ask you, or anything that you'd like to share about your experience in this?
Actually, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What was your like most enjoyable or like takeaway experience from being my coach in this?
Yes. I was just very, very impressed by how quickly. I was like, didn't even have some. You must have. You like you sewn, right? Because I was like, when the shirt was coming together, I remember the night, like the first night that you left, and like we had something to hang on the mannequin. I was like, that's a shirt. it's got a collar and everything. It was just so, I was like, so it inspired me, because I was like, for anyone out there who is hesitant or like, I can't sew, I was like, I don't think Deneen been sewing that long. She made a whole freaking button-up camp style collar shirt.
Yeah.
So I was very impressed with that. And it was helpful, like even it also helped me prompt why I was telling you to do certain things. Because there were times where I'd be like, impress this and do the, and then I was like, I'm gonna pause. You're pressing this because by the time you actually go to sew it on, you want that hem already pre-done up. Or even though we're going to then release the hem of the sleeve to sew up the sleeve, you want it pre-pressed so that it makes it easier. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or we would use like our introducing her to like stitch witchery, when we were trying to do where they would have you sort of like hand stitch or hand stitch like the back of the collar, or hand stitch the facing to, you know, line it with the waistline and things like that. I was like, we could do that, and we could also or we could also apply some stitch witchery, get the seam exactly where you need it, and then we're just gonna stitch in the ditch from the right side, right? So it helped me sort of in articulating some of these shortcuts or tips that I've learned along the way. I was like, oh, okay, that's helpful. That's helpful. So you don't have to make those same challenging mistakes that some of us have made. So that was really nice to see. And also, like I had mentioned in the community tab, I broke out my Burnett 77. So she came in here just in the Audi of cars, and had a lot to say when we had to switch over to my Singer sewing machine, treating it like the Volvo that it is. I don't know why you had to do that. The ghetto. I said, you better stop. Don't be like that.
I gotta pick up my own
She
foot.
is right there. She said, so you tell it doesn't automatically cut the thread. I said, don't be like that. That's why you can't start people off with fancy.
You don't like it.
Don't know no better. You don't know any better. So, what was your experience like on the Burnett? Things that you liked?
Burnett. I appreciate how slow, like you can change the speed very easily. I think that after a while, once I was acclimated, pretty intuitive. There are so many things on that screen, so I don't know.
Don't look at it. Right.
Yeah, I think it was pretty intuitive. It does feel like a regular machine, like threading it through and all of that. Like it didn't feel foreign, so I guess it's not as high tech. What I would have expected from a
computerized
robot machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that snippy thing, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. The automatic thread cutter.
Yes.
I feel like that.
That automatic thread cutter.
And so for the Burnett 77, they do have a dial on the front where you can like change the speed, and regardless of how lead-footed you are on the pedal, it will say, okay, and you told me that I go 7 stitches per minute, and that's what I'm doing.
And
so.
I appreciated that, because I feel like sometimes like your foot can move a little bit, or you're just like trying to shift your leg as you're trying to move the material, and then you can just get jerked forward. And I appreciated that it didn't do that, and could be more proud of my straight-ish stitches. Yeah,
very well done. And why did we have to use the Singer sewing machine?
I don't want to talk.
You don't want to talk about it?
These damn belt loops. I tried to, you said something about a zigzag stitch, and then she left me down here by myself.
She was doing so well. This was the second garment. She had sewn a whole shirt. I was like, surely you can handle tacking on the belt loops.
Yeah.
I'll be upstairs with the children.
And I put it on a zigzag, and then I tried a couple different zigzags, and I was like, it keeps making this ka-chunk sound, but I don't know, it's a weird machine.
She ain't tell me about the ka-chunk sound. A ka-chunk?
It made that sound a lot whenever I had the rickrack, and it was a lot of rickracks. And I was like, oh, it's like 3 layers of material.
A lot of layers.
Yeah. And then I looked underneath and was like, I'll ignore that. And I kept going because the top side looked really good, and it started to look like just like it looked like embroidery,
like a satin stitch. Yeah,
sure. And yeah, so then when you came down here and embarrassed me by myself, and I was like, oh, you need to take this out. So here is a seam ripper. Like, I don't got seam rippers at home.
I was like, take this with you.
Take this with you.
Come back tomorrow. I was like, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow when you've rectified this situation.
It felt like you like just read your essay to your teacher, and they're like, oh, I think you should rethink the topic of discussion and just like come back tomorrow, fresh face, with a new draft. Just come back from the start.
I was like, oh, I mean, you could leave it like that, but also I know you, and I don't think we want to leave it like that. So I think we're just gonna. I do think that the Burnett, for all of its glorious features, I have had more tension issues with my Burnett than I do with my Singer. That's a personal problem. Maybe I just need more work with it, and I'm okay with that. I will also say, to your point, it was a lot of levels of thicknesses. We didn't do anything like a hump jumper to like level it out or anything, so it could have been us. I'm taking ownership of that. What I'm saying is, that's what it was.
Jumper.
Don't worry. You lit
liquor.
You lit liquor. Yes.
Got the flam flams on the hump jumpers.
Tell me about tools that we used in our sewing process that were really helpful to you.
We didn't use this.
Stop
I don't know
it.
what this is, but it's been here the whole time. Is this a kid's toy?
Yes, it's a screwdriver. It's a screwdriver.
I literally thought that might have actually been a sewing. I don't know.
It is,
You got Taylor's ham.
yes.
You got turkeys here. I don't
That
know.
is a toy screwdriver for my children that she flung across the room.
Definitely. Wow, I really thought that
Uma's
was
going to be very upset with you about tossing her toys. All right, what were some tools that we actually used?
Taylor's ham, very
The Taylor's
nifty.
ham.
I don't know where she's at, but
And I made it myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
For what? What did you use the Taylor's
What
ham
I
for?
used it for, the Taylor ham is for you
Well,
to
they can't
get
see
in,
that.
to get into like the corners. So when you're like doing this weird area here, and you made me press it and then leave me, and it felt very weird. That you're able to get into them for all of the rounded areas.
Yes.
Because it's not a flat surface, so then it's able to form to it a little bit better.
And I feel like we used that a lot in Justin's shirt too.
We
For, like,
did.
the collar area and stuff.
What else? I mean, the surgery was cool. It's a little too mesmerizing. I didn't like that because
Mesmerizing.
yeah.
Oh, because you're focused on the
Yeah, there was something
you get
that-
sucked in.
Yeah,
with the vortex.
yeah. I didn't like that. That felt sinful. What other tools?
I'm thinking of two right now
Yeah.
that you used a lot. Yeah.
Oh man, it wasn't the seam ripper. Oh, the seam gauge.
Yes.
Love this little beaut.
Mm-hmm.
Even have a favorite one versus another one.
Don't be talking. Don't be. So Mari, if you're watching, thank you for this one. She loves it. This is the one that I usually didn't. I tell y'all that like it bends very easily.
I would like to say that every time you made me repress some seams, it's because I was using this little wonky
Oh,
thing.
was it?
Even the lines
I
are
know.
not straight.
I know because it's been through. I put it through some things,
My God.
which is why I appreciate this one. It's a lot more. It's a lot sturdier. Okay, but yes, this seam gauge.
Yes.
Pourquoi?
Because I mean, it just makes everything look cleaner. And
What would you use it for?
oh,
What would you-
I used it to measure the seams evenly throughout. So measure, press, pin.
Yep.
All of those things.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that everything was actually even throughout the entire garment.
Some other things we used it to when we would line up
Ooh,
your
the
corners.
Yeah.
To get your pivot points.
Yes. That was that was really
That was clutch. That came in clutch. So for the bib front, for example, you sew, of course, at a 5/8 of an inch with the lining. So instead of just sort of blindly trying to figure out when you've reached 5/8 of an inch, we like took the time to actually lay it out on the pieces before we started sewing and marked the 5/8 point so that we knew where she would then pivot to
Love
go.
this thing. That's
Yeah.
my other favorite
Okay.
tool. Yeah,
The
I want that.
marker. Yeah. All right, she's developing a wish list, people. There we go. That and I was thinking that one.
Oh, what is this thing called? Not a seam gauge. It's
What do I call it? Seam magnet? I don't know.
you had a name that was like, oh yeah, no,
I
that's
do,
what
right?
it is.
This
So
one,
that
the,
thing.
the magnet, the magnet that you put on the presser foot that aligns with the seam. You know, this one. You know what I'm talking about.
The seam measure upper.
Yes,
That was very helpful.
in allowing you to do what?
Making sure that I was not going outside of the actual seams that I wanted.
Absolutely.
What's honorable mention for this?
Yes.
My safety scissors, aka Old Faithful, aka I don't like the big scissors.
I don't like the big scissors.
She did me well.
Oh my gosh.
They're so little.
Like
I've never used scissors that small since childhood, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they do look like safety scissors.
yeah, they're so sharp.
Yeah, they're good. That's why I keep them in here. All right. what are you looking forward to sewing next? What's next on your to make list?
Definitely the
brought some fabrics behind you. Bring it out. Bring it out.
Yes. So,
oh, that is how you treat your pattern pieces?
No,
my Lanta.
I didn't want to.
Like I taught her nothing.
I didn't want to stuff it in there.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Just crumpling up the edges.
It's not. Okay, I didn't do it. My mom did it.
I'm sorry, Mama. I'm blaming you for stuff. Okay, but yes, tell the
Yeah.
people what pattern you are trying to sew next.
Pattern, Simplicity S9756. Little 2-piece joint. Probably not gonna make the
little bando
top.
Oh, it's more than a bit. Wow, it's very intricate.
I mean, now that you said that, maybe I don't know.
I
I did dream about it last night.
You save the fabric. There will be a time you'll go to another island.
Yeah. Because that would be actually very cute. Open in the black with the pleats.
Do they have, is that elastic in the casing at the bottom? Or is it?
Oh, it smells like my mommy.
Did she sew?
Yeah, she washed it.
Oh,
yeah.
it does. It sounds like the laundry room.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's really nice.
I see her.
I need her.
Day, but I didn't mean to get emotional.
Oh.
I love her.
Oh. Yeah, that's what's. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's elastic, I think. At the bottom. Anyway, yes, sorry. Out of what fabric? So she wants to make this out
of the black plissé fabric. It is a knit. I don't know, girl. You just throw out a lot of material words. It's like it's a lycra spandex with a little bit of a 6-way stretch. Like that's. I'm gonna be that girly one day. Don't you worry. See me next year.
Wow. Well, if we getting technical, right? Well,
yeah.
Let me tell the folks what it is.
It
is a woven fabric. It is a woven, but it does. I think what you're noticing is that it has some mechanical stretch because it is plissé, which means that it has these like permanent pleats in it. So you have a bit of that mechanical give, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily a knit. It's not really stretch.
But it's so stretchy this way.
Oh, you see, I didn't pull it that way. Sorry. Hold on.
6-way
Well,
stretch.
listen, what I'm saying is it's a 2-way stretch, but not in the direction that you would think. So naturally, if you were going to be sewing, right? Like I would want the lines going vertically.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want these lines horizontal across my body, but they put the stretch in the horizontal.
That's true.
Where it's like it's not going to wrap around you.
Well,
so it's going to just be in the long, like up and down.
True.
So
why would I want that?
We're going to treat it like a woven.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But it does have 2-way stretch, unfortunately, in a direction that would not be necessarily beneficial if you are someone who would prefer for your lines on your body to go vertically.
If you did like the bandeau top like this way,
yeah,
that would be
nice.
a really good.
That would be nice.
All right, we're making it.
Okay. You have enough fabric. I mean, we have 4 yards of this, and it has a really nice sheen to it, and I don't know, of course, because I don't know if you're going to be able to see it.
I'm wearing it for New Year's.
Are you?
I think so. I don't know.
Nice.
We'll see.
And we have to make it before the 15th, before I'm out of here.
I guess I'm not wearing for New Year's.
But you will have had all the skills. You can do it on your own. But yes, so that's what she's excited to sew next, and I'm so excited about it. How far did you get in the cutting out of this pattern?
Not very far.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm excited about it because once she makes it, then I'll know if it's something I care to make. Yay. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to chat with you a little bit about your reinitiation into the sewing guild that is the Traditionally Inspired Meaningful Art Sewing channel. And I'm so excited for you to be sewing. This has been a lot of fun. We just need to find now. I have to bring down another table down here because if we're going to be sewing together, we need all of this space. And maybe just bring down what I used to iron on so that I can set up my... just need to be able to be side by side. You all don't see what I'm talking about, but...
yeah.
That's the thing, yeah, but I'm super excited for you. and for all the things that you're gonna make. But this was like for the first 2 garments, like coming back to sewing, and the last time you sewed something was a decade ago.
Yeah.
In my mama's basement.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. I'm very impressed. And I can't wait to go to Friendsmas and watch you guys in your garments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be really fun. And you can say thanks. I made it. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. You say thanks. Thanks. I made it.
Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
Well, thank you all for watching. After she finished this one, I was like, you know what? Well, I have you here. Let's just talk about this because I won't see you for the rest of the week, I think.
No. Yeah.
No.
That
was enough.
You have to go to work, and once you're in Virginia, you just gotta go to bed.
Yes.
But I'll be back next week.
Yay. So I've been very excited. I shared with you all on the community tab, so I figured that we do a quick little video. It's not quick. I figured we'd do a video to just share about the experience. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you.
You're a fantastic coach.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let us know in the comments down below what's a good question. What's a good exit ticket question for them?
What is a good, fun, cute project to get into if you're trying to get excited about sewing?
In the comments down below, let the community know. What is your pattern or project recommendation for someone who's getting back into sewing? I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something you get excited about.
Yeah.
Not too complicated.
Not too complicated.
But like you feel very cute afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, please let us know. Because that would be great. Especially if you have a friend or someone who is even like tinkering with the idea of sewing. Make them excited about sewing.
Yeah.
And then they become your sewing friend that you have in person. Right? Because all we did, we went looking for fabric for you for stuff that I'm going to make for you.
Yeah.
It was like bridal wear next year. And then possibly like bridesmaids fabric for me. And then you just got sucked in, swept up in the excitement of it all.
That's
in
what
the fabric.
happens. You find a really nice fabric. I feel like that's what me and my grandma used to do. Just like walking around, you find a fabric and it's like, I see this. This is what I envision.
The vision is coming.
And then we start going through the pattern books and then find something.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. I'm going to say bye for the 13th time. See you later. What's our tagline? What's my tagline? You watch so many videos.
Oh, girl, I fall asleep at the end. I don't know.
Stay creative, folks.
Stay creative, folks!
Bye.